Hi, it's Liz Sneddon. Let's have a look at the answer to question 2b. So what we've got here is we are wanting to compare weather in Kaitaia and in Reefton. And what we want to do is look at this claim. So we've got a claim here that Matthew claims that it is 20 times more likely to be windy when it's dry in Kaitaia than in Reefton. So this 20 times more likely, as soon as I see those words times more likely, I go straight to thinking about relative risk. And so that tells me I need to do a comparison. And so I need to compare one probability divided by another probability. And in this case, I'm comparing Kaitaia with Reefton. So I want to put the probability for Kaitaia on the top and put the probability for Reefton on the bottom. And I want to look at, we're comparing whether it's how the chance that it's windy when it is dry. So let's just have a break that down and do one Kaitaia first and then Reefton, and then we'll put this all together. So here is Reefton. Oh, okay, I've done Reefton first. So we are going to look at this bit where it says it's more likely to be windy when it is dry. So when it is dry, that tells me I know it's dry. So I want to focus just on this column here of when it is dry. And there were 1,673 days when it is dry. And from those dry days, the chance that it was windy is 53. So our probability, so we're going to say the probability of being dry, given that, let's do that one again. Let me just erase that. I've got that around the wrong way. So it is the probability of being windy given that it is dry, and that is 53 out of 1,673. So if I put that into my calculator, let me just grab that. So we're going to do 53 divided by 1,673, and that gives me 0.031, and I need to round that last decimal, so 0.0317 to 4 decimal places. Okay, so that's for Reefton. Now let's look at Kaitaia. So again, I need to look at, it's talking about chance of being windy when it is dry. So I want to look at the dry days in Kaitaia, and there's 1,915 dry days in total. And from those dry days, the chance that it's windy is 1,093. So we can say the probability of being windy, given that it is dry, and we're in Kaitaia, is 1,093 out of 1,915. So let's put that into our calculator, and 1093 divided by 1915 gives me 0.5708. So that is that to 4 decimal places. Now that I've got these two conditional probabilities, now I need to be able to do the claim part where it talks about it as 20 times more likely to be windy and dry in Kaitaia than in Reefton. So I need to do my relative risk, and I'm going to be comparing Kaitaia to Reefton. And so my probability for Kaitaia, that was my 1,093 out of 1,915, and my Reefton was 53 out of 1,673. So that was our 0.557% divided by 3%. And we can see the number on the top, that probability for Kaitaia is much bigger than the probability for Reefton. So Kaitaia is much more likely to be windy when it's dry. And when we divide that out, so if I grab my calculator and go, and in fact I'm just going to put this in to be accurate. I'm not going to use the decimal values, I'm actually going to use my original fractions. So I'm going to say 1093 divided by 1915, divide that by, and notice I'm just putting brackets around it so that it makes sure it does the BEDMAS correctly. So that fraction divided by that fraction gives me 18.02. So we want to interpret this. As soon as I do a relative risk, I want to interpret it. So I need to think, well, what does that mean? Well, it means that the number that is on the top, okay, so our Kaitaia, the number on the top is 18.02 times bigger than the number on the bottom for Reefton. Okay, so this 57% is 18 times bigger than this 3%. That's what it's telling us. And so let's write that. So we can say the chance of a where's the wording? Windy when dry, of a day being windy when dry in Kaitaia, so the one on the top, the Kaitaia one, is 18 times more likely than in Reefton. Okay, so that's what it means. So I've interpreted it. And the last part is looking at the claim. So Matthew claims that it's 20 times more likely. Now, do we agree or disagree with that claim? Well, we've got a relative risk of 18. And 18 is not equal to 20. So I'm going to disagree with the claim. So I disagree with Matthew's claim. As the relative risk is only 18, not 20. And that is where we stop. So in terms of marking, if you were able to do one of the probabilities, so if you were able to do the probability for Reefton or the probability for Kaitaia, then that means that we would give you a achieved U-tick. If you are able to calculate the relative risk, so you're able to get this value of 18.02, then that would give you your merit. And if you're able to then go on and do both the interpretation and disagree with the claim, that actually gets you 2 T's for this gear. Okay. So if there were any rounding errors or things like that, then that would only get you 1 T. So that is the answer for question 2B. Thanks for watching.